On the most recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Steven and Alina were reunited. Despite their youth and some real issues, they had a heartwarming reunion. There have been little hints here and there on social media that they are no longer together. And recently, Steven with AV was spotted with a mystery girl on an apparent double date. Oh. Steven Johnston has made quite the impression upon 90 Day Fiancé fans, and it's not all good. Some of what viewers have said and thought has been unfair. But some of it's right on the money. Here is, literally, everything that we know about Steven and Alina and why people think that it's over. Steven and Alina met on a language exchange site. As a Mormon, Steven was sent out into the world as a missionary and ended up learning Russian in Eastern Europe. He and Alina had a fairly instant attraction. In their defense, they are very cute together. Before season 3 was filmed, the two had only spent 2 weeks together in Russia, all around Alina's family. They had worried that Steven would try to steal Alina's organs. We get the impression that her family is perhaps overly cautious. Steven and Alina met up in Turkey. Genuinely, they had one of the sweetest and most heartwarming reunions that we've ever seen on this show. But then, Mike and Natalie had cute moments too, so we all know to not judge romances by their happiest scenes. Before we list their issues, seen in just 4 episodes of the season, let's acknowledge that they have a lot going for them. They're both attractive, and though they're young, genuinely Alina is too young to get married. Sorry not sorry, there isn't a huge age gap. But they do have some hurdles to cross. Steven, what in the world is hula poop? It's apparently his childish word for sex, and boy do we mean childish. He and Alina can wait until marriage, or until they both turn 60 if they want, but please, call it what it is. Steven is a quirky person, which isn't in and of itself a bad thing. But his obvious lack of impulse control could be a real problem in the long term. What makes for a fun story and fond memories of a weekend fling can get old when you realize you can't take your partner anywhere. Another issue is that Steven is expecting Alina to not just wait for marriage, but to convert. Very few people are genuinely interested in changing their beliefs for a partner. Alina has already bristled after their very first Mormon Bible study together. How much more of this is she up for? Alina has not had sex, not by design, but simply by circumstances of life. She's only 20. It happens. Steven, despite his beliefs, has had sex in the past, but views these as lapses in judgment that go against his faith. One thing that is surely a lapse in judgment is that he has not told Alina this. She deserves to know. A couple of weeks ago, on Instagram, Alina hinted that Steven had not approved of or liked a look of hers. We have to say that he does seem like the kind of guy who would just blurt out when he doesn't like a look. Alina's airing of that disagreement and being praised on the look by followers could be a hint that they're over. More recently, it looks like Steven was hanging out with Chantal Everett and Pedro Jimeno. That on its own is odd but not unheard of. 90 Day Fiancé stars often hang out. While Steven being in the US instead of Turkey or Russia might seem odd, he could have been visiting family or filming something like the tell-all, albeit prematurely. But who is this mystery woman seated between Steven and Chantal? We don't know, but that's certainly not Alina. She could just be, another person. Or this could have been a double date. We mentioned Natalie Mordovtseva briefly earlier, and she again comes to mind, given that she took a new man on a double date with Yora and Jovi. It's possible that Steven is following in her footsteps in that one regard, and that this means that he and Alina are over. But it's also more than possible that Steven is deliberately teasing fans to build up further hype for his storyline.